So misconception number 5, this we hear a lot. So when foundation models become stronger, then actually we are not going to need any more chances, right? Because one day they will just be free of hallucinations, they will be free of any other errors in their behavior. So we are going to all become irrelevant if we just focus on these evaluations and measurements, because measurements will always give a maximum number and it will be trivial and we will all be fine anyway without them. Well, there's a few different aspects to this. So firstly, the premise that the models keep improving in these regards of certain evaluation metrics, that is certainly true, and we've seen this happening, and this is truly awesome that this is happening. However, even at the maximum level of performance of a model, which would essentially be some kind of AGI, there will always be a question of energy. So you would always want to carry out any kind of cognitive operation with minimum energy utilization, maximum efficiency. So there's an argument that there are always going to be smaller models that you can use. There are always going to be like smaller, weaker models that you want to use. And that's going to be the case for a long time in any practical situation. So those models will still have a lot of those problems, even if the best models actually have resolved them. And also we need to take into account that there's a whole lot more to measure than whether the model is hallucinating. There's also semantic measures that are not something that the foundation models as such are going to maximize. So when we come to questions like, is it going to talk about our competitor? So in these sort of situations, it's not at all obvious that no matter how good the foundation model becomes, is it actually going to behave in the way you want it, because it might just not have taken that meaning in the same way as you intend. And finally, historically, when the models have improved, we have always moved the goalposts. So when the models have become more complex, more powerful, we've always given them more complex problems to solve. And so far, we haven't run out of complex problems to solve, so that the development will probably still continue, and hence the errors will sort of again begin to materialize when you move from simpler to more complex problems. And there's an argument to be made that actually the use of charges actually enables pretty much anyone, especially smaller, less well-funded companies, to actually start creating judgments, creating mechanisms that were only previously possible for larger companies. So this is sort of we would see this more in a positive light than in the light of being somehow making the use metrics relevant, but actually when the models become more powerful, it just means that everyone can make even stronger evaluations on any kinds of text, actually, whether it's from LLM or from human sources, which is another interesting line of applications. And finally, when the models become stronger, the explanations that these charges give are actually also going to become stronger, more useful, more expressive, and that's also one of the things that we, for example, at 𝗟𝗟𝗪 are putting more attention to, so that those justifications for the scores that the judges give are actually top-notch and really useful and interesting for the people who actually use them, and even making our own judgments potentially better when we can see sides of the problem that we didn't realize before the LLM was telling us and explaining its own line of reasoning.